So, the real reason we're going to Syracuse is because I grew up here from age 6 to 16, and one of the things I remembered about Syracuse is when my Aunt Barbara would come visit, and she would take us to an all-you-can-eat China buffet, which I think was the Empire Buffet, where we are now going to get dinner. Where we wanted to get dinner last night when the trailer came off the edge. And they loved it, and Joey dipped his French fries in pudding. So this is Berry Park. And when I was a kid, every summer we would get enrolled in, apparently it's still going, the East Side Soccer League. And one night a week you'd have practice. And then on Saturday morning, after you got your Saturday chores done, you'd get on your bike and you'd come down here. And if you were an older kid, you played on these soccer fields. And if you were a younger kid, they set up goals down there. Here's something else I used to find when I was a kid. What do you have there, Joey? Put it on the palm of your hand. Yeah, it's the skin from a cicada. And the swings here were much taller, but we get going like that and then we'd fly off. Nice job. And I took my kids down to my childhood elementary school, and the principal let us in, and we took a self-guided tour, though he was a little disappointed that we weren't enrolling. And that's the signpost there where the church sign hung. This is the house where I grew up, and that porch over there on the right was used to be a porch. They extended it so we could have the services on that side. And way up there in the attic is where I had my room for part of my life, but mostly my room was over here where the playroom is, right there. And we had to shovel the snow out of all this space in the backyard so people could park, and there are the remnants of the bricks that used to hold back the bank. And that's where I got this scar on my arm. And then the children got to experience the children's library corner at the Pettit Branch Library and swimming at Thorndon Park Pool, where I learned to swim, all part of my childhood. Well, that was definitely not part of my childhood. Where'd you guys get that ice cream?
An ice cream truck. Mom.
Yeah, an ice cream truck and Mom. That would be the right answer. And I remember street parking with signs like this. Parking permitted from 6 p.m. odd days to 6 p.m. even days. The theory being you get 24 hours in a row before you have to move your car. But we got caught once because it went from the 31st, the last day of the month, to the 1st, the next day, and it was 2 odd days in a row. And we had left our car there and got tickets. And this group of trees at Thorndon Park was a family favorite. I guess it's a weeping beech. We always called it a weeping willow. You can go inside and it's almost like having rooms in here. In fact, people maybe even sleep here on occasion. And the other great treat of my childhood, the majority of the malls had a carousel in the food court. So the kids got to ride the carousel at Destiny USA, which I think used to be called the Carousel Mall. We have left Syracuse and we're back on the real history tour. We have made it to Titus's first choice, which is Saratoga Battlefield. Joey, this whole trip you've been saying you hope you could buy a
musket ball.
And he found one! Revolutionary War musket ball. Yeah. .69 caliber. Here we are at Bremen's Redoubt on the Saratoga battlefield. These pickets mark where the redoubt, or wall of logs that was being defended by the British, was. And this side over here is where Benedict Arnold led the final charge and made it through to secure what was the first major American victory, and eventually led to the first British surrender. They got the French into the war that helped us to win. So this is the place where America changed forever. And this is the statue of the boot commemorating the brave officer who was shot in the leg and whose horse went down. Unfortunately, his name was Benedict Arnold, so they took his name off because he later turned traitor. But he was really a very successful commander in the American Army for much of the early part of the war, and a good friend to George Washington until he wasn't. All right, day one of exploring in Vermont, and we are at the Shelburne Museum, where somebody collected an eclectic collection of steamships and round barns and who knows what all. We're gonna check it out. And after enjoying 525 feet of Roy Arnold's miniature circus parade, the kids have found the Kirk Brothers Circus.
See the guy? He tied that big rock to the bottom of his cycle. Yeah.
And we did not get through half of the things there were to see at the museum before the kids expired, and we went down to the shores of Lake Champlain for a picnic. You been working on, Thomas?
Well, Mom did most of the work. I just collected a few of the rocks at the end.
Of course, Joey had a very different way of enjoying the rocks at the beach. My kids loved Vermont, where we were graciously hosted by my cousins with home-cooked meals and air-conditioned beds and campfires and new experiences. See, ready? Give it a little push. Uh-oh, that one's a little crooked. Gonna get stuck in that tree? No! No! Oh! Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Yay! Fortunately for us, our family pass to the Shelburne Museum was good for 2 days, so we got to come back and explore even more. And then we finished up the evening with a trip out to the Shelburne farm, which was owned by the same family. And our final stop before we left Vermont for New Hampshire was picked out by Titus. I told him to find something along the route to our next destination, and he found Lotso Balls Mini Golf. East Coast highways have minimum speeds, which is good to know when you're towing. They also have expansive rest area, gas station, food stops, but they charge you an arm and a leg to drive on I-90. We were amused in Ohio by milepost signs every 0.2 of a mile. New York upped them with every 1/10 of a mile, and Vermont did every 0.5 on some of their highways. But my absolute favorite is tech stop parking areas with absolutely no services, but you can check your phone.